It was the night the shadows whispered my name that I knew something was wrong. I lived in a small village near the kingdom ruled by Prince Kofi. He was a young man, handsome but cruel. They said he could make a person disappear with just a glance. Many feared him, but fear turned to dread when he began hunting in our village. One evening, as the sun dipped low, I saw the prince ride into town with his men. They laughed, their voices echoing in the still air. I hid behind a tree, my heart racing. I watched as he ordered his men to grab the strongest villagers for his twisted games. That night, a loud knock shook my door. It was one of the prince's guards, demanding I come outside. My knees trembled, but I knew I couldn't refuse. I stepped out into the moonlight, feeling every eye in the village upon me. The prince stood there, his dark eyes glinting with malice. "You," he said, pointing at me. "You will entertain me tonight." I shivered as he smiled, but there was no warmth in it. The villagers whispered amongst themselves, fear palpable in the air. The prince took me to a clearing where his men gathered. They forced me to tell stories of bravery and love, but all I could think about was escaping. As I spoke, I noticed a strange shadow creeping near the trees, growing larger as I faltered in my tale. Suddenly, the ground shook and the shadow lunged forward, revealing a massive, monstrous figure. The prince laughed, thinking it was part of my performance. But the figure lunged at him, and I realized it was the spirit of a villager the prince had wronged. In a flash, the spirit captured the prince, dragging him into the darkness. His screams pierced the night, chilling every bone in my body. I wanted to run, but I stood frozen, watching as the prince disappeared into the shadows, his laughter replaced by terror. The next morning, the villagers whispered of the curse. They said the prince was doomed to wander the darkness, searching for a way back. No one dared to speak of it again, but I knew the shadows would always remember. And so would I.